My name is Edmund Yakani, Executive Director of CEPO. I would like to take this opportunity with high respect to welcome the presentation made by the interim chair, Ambassador Major General Agrggy Geogre of RJMEC to our National Transitional Legislative Assembly. The position presented by the interim chair of RJMEC is an honest and sincere position on the status of the implementation of the R-ARCSS. The implementation of R-ARCSS is facing a lot of challenges. Among the top challenges, as His Excellency interim chair of RJMEC, Ambassador Major General Agrggy Geogre have mentioned, is the deepening of mistrust among the parties that are signatory to R-ARCSS. Secondly, the unilateral decision that have been made by some of the parties to the provision of the R-ARCSS, and then the political sponsored splits that are taking place among the parties that are signatory to R-ARCSS. Is not only IO, we know that there are also other sponsored split among other members of SOA. All these have contributed in weakening the political commitment of the signatory of R-ARCSS to a genuine and timely implementation of R-ARCSS. The risk is what His Excellency interim chair of RJMEC have mentioned, that R-ARCSS is at risk of collapse. And of course, we have mentioned that before, as we are aware that some parts of the country is already facing an active military confrontation among the armed forces of some of the parties signatory to R-ARCSS, mainly SPLM-IG, with its forces, which are forces of the government, SSPDF, versus the forces of the SPLM-IO, which is the SPLA-IO. And we already hear the language of, we repel an attack on us, we have recaptured the town from our opponent. This language tells you very clear that Chapter 2 of the R-ARCSS is facing a risk, and likely the country may fall back into violence, which contradicts the promises made by our leaders to us that under their leadership, the country will never return back to war. And all what we describe as a challenges, as a weaknesses that weaken genuine and honest implementation of the R-ARCSS is the action of the spoilers that does not want any genuine and successful political transition in the country through the implementation of the provision of the R-ARCSS. Or those are the actors whom I describe them as profiteers of instability and insecurity in the country, because we realize that we have some South Sudanese in political establishment, in the security and defense institution, that benefit from continuous insecurity and instability in the country. And they are the ones who are strongly undermine the genuine implementation of the R-ARCSS. And that's why sometimes we keep on calling that the leadership of the country, in particular His Excellency President, need to distance the spoilers of the peace agreement very far from being close to him. That is what we know, is that all the R-ARCSS challenges are posted and executed by the spoilers of a genuine and successful political transition in the country. And of course, we are aware that our political class that are tasked to implement the R-ARCSS have historical grievances that have deepened their mistrust, lack of confidence for working together to transition the country from violence to peace. We are aware of that, but they don't have any other option at hand. The only option they have is for them to resume dialogue among themselves to reach renewal of political consensus for transitioning the country from violence to peace. And now, following the split that has happened within the SPLA-IO and the detention of first Vice President under house arrest and some of his members, and now he is facing a trial, all these actions will contribute in derailing the genuine and the timely implementation of the pending task of the R-ARCSS. That's why, as a civil society, as a stakeholder to R-ARCSS, my appeal to all political leaders in the country that still we have enough time. Let's call for dialogue, and the dialogue may help us renew our political pledge for transitioning the country from violence to peace. Thank you very much.